All right. Hello, Trailblazers, and welcome to another edition of Entrepreneur Journey. I am so pleased to have Michelle Calloway on the call today. And I apologize for not saying that this was going to go live in the group before now, but hopefully you're watching now and it is live inside the Entrepreneur Journey group. And once again, I am so pleased to have Michelle Calloway with us because she has an amazing piece of technology that she's going to share with us and her story, which is also incredible. So without further ado, let me go in and ask you some kind of personal questions, if that's all right.
Absolutely.
All right. So I saw from your Facebook photos recently that you went somewhere tropical. Where'd you go?
My husband and I went to Belize for 2 weeks.
Ooh.
Belize is down in Central America, but it was originally owned by the British. And so everybody there speaks English and they take the US dollars. And it was just a really easy, like Central America tropical vacation.
Nice. Was that your first time to Belize?
It was. And we have
Nice.
friends from America that have moved there. And so that was fun to hang out with them and kind of see it from a more locals perspective, even though they're considered expats.
Anytime I travel, I like to know what the locals do, not what the tourists do, because I want to get ingrained in the culture and that sort of thing, not just what they do to cater to tourists. Yeah.
That was the fun part about this, because if I had just gone with my husband and I, we would have totally been the tourists, but it felt so nice. And 2 weeks was a really good time to kind of just like sink in a little bit and kind of experience things more as a local.
Nice. It's on my bucket list. So I'm going to have to visit Belize as well. Awesome. And let's give your husband a plug. I ordered his book and it came in. I haven't read it yet. It came in the mail yesterday. It is the next on my list to read though. So very, very cool. I love the title of it, Wish Sandwich. I think I need to get him on the entrepreneur journey as well, just to kind of talk about his journey. But let's talk about getting that to happen, right? You can connect me with him and possibly get him on the show, but kind of tell me about how this book came about.
So my husband is, he has a journey if you were to like read his book, you're going to think that it's just like a Forrest Gump version, but a Black version of it, but way even better. And it's all really real. His life is such an amazing story. He grew up in the Bronx in just absolute poverty. His dad only graduated the second grade. His mom and dad's relationship was super rocky. At one point in life, his mom left him and his brothers and his dad and took all the girls and went and lived with another man. And then Jerry ended up being raised by his alcoholic, abusive father, pretty severely was abused, and then ended up being abandoned by his own father, along with his brothers, and ended up growing up in a boys' home in the Bronx. So it all started in Brooklyn. He ended up growing up in the Bronx, and he actually sees growing up in a boys' home as an absolute lifesaver because it gave him a childhood. And he felt safe there, even though, he was bullied by the other kids because, that's what kids do, unfortunately. But then he ended up, getting yanked out of that safe and secure environment as a teenager because his alcoholic abusive father said, well, hey, you know what? You're old enough now to go work. So he put him to go work instead of, valuing education. And then him and his dad just ended up just like button heads. And now, Jerry is older and he could defend himself better. So he ended up finding himself homeless on the streets of Brooklyn as a teenager. And Brooklyn it was not a friendly place. So he actually joined the army as an escape during the Vietnam era because he thought at least there they'll give me a gun to defend myself. It's crazy. So then, he goes into the Vietnam, and it's just like Forrest Gump. You remember Forrest went into the Vietnam, but Jerry being a Black man, there was so much prejudice. And so it's just quite a wild story about being in the hot zone during in a war, area, and experiencing friendly fire. Wow. That was not cool. And then he came out of that. Just his continual overwhelming ability to rise above adversity is incredibly inspiring. And then he goes on to becoming a very popular musician in California, opened for groups like B.B. King and the Temptations, and actually got a chance to sing on stage with the Temptations.
Wow.
So, and then it just goes in, there's a love story in there. So it's just beautiful. Just a beautiful story for inspiration and realizing that no matter what life throws at us, we do actually have choices. And so Wish Sandwich is about making those choices to build your ultimate sandwich from the day you're born to the day you expire. What are you putting into that sandwich to make it quality?
Nice. I can't wait to dive into that. I'm sure, the whole entrepreneur journey, that's kind of my thing. So hearing other entrepreneur stories, that's the reason I do this. I know I'm going to love that book. So I'm glad that you mentioned it to me before, and then I had a chance to grab it now. So, and let's kind of go with the musician thing now, kind of a fun thing. What's your favorite song to dance to?
The Sunshine in My Pocket song by Justin Timberlake
Nice.
just gets me going no matter what kind of a mood I'm in. I just love the words, and then I love the energy and just his tones. He's just awesome.
Nice, nice. So now we're going to shift from your husband's story to your story. So tell us a little bit about your story, about where you kind of started, how you got involved into the things that you're involved in now, and just kind of give us the cliff notes.
Sure. The Revealio is the for-profit company that I started back in 2016 with my husband, Jerry. He's the president. I am a faith-based entrepreneur. So everybody that knows me knows that my driving force and my energy and my propulsion to just continue to persevere all comes from the belief that I was called into this. My background is in graphic design and visual communications, and it's still very much the essence of what I'm all about, is helping others get their story told in a way that is going to attract the right people and resonate. It needs to resonate with them. So what happened is I owned my own graphic design agency, and then I was introduced to a technology. This was back in 2012, way before the United States had any kind of an inkling of what was coming with these virtual or mixed realities, right? So in 2012, I was introduced to augmented reality. What I saw was a business card that, when viewed through a smartphone, literally came alive on the card like Harry Potter. The card would just start talking to you. That was augmented reality back in 2012. And I was just impressed. Of course, I was shocked, but then I couldn't sleep for 2 whole weeks. And so I'm like, okay, this is obviously something that I meant to do something with, but I didn't understand why. So I went ahead and I stepped into that role of being a tech founder, which I never, ever in my wildest dreams would have imagined myself doing. But my faith, I know that if you're called to do it, you're going to be equipped to do it. So I stepped in, and then I started figuring out, like, well, why me? It wasn't until a young lady, and I'm going to show you this. Okay, Doug, I'm going to show you that. This is the card.
Okay.
A young lady had saw that with augmented reality technology, we can literally bring physical objects to life through smart technology. So she saw that I could do that, and she had fallen in love, and her boyfriend was deployed overseas in the military. So he's a soldier. He's in Germany. She's in the US. She says, Michelle, will you help me create a card that he can hear me and see me and feel like a piece of home is with him at any point in time? And I got chills all over my body. Wow. So this is what we built together. She provided the video that you're going to see, but I created this card and I made the technology happen. So when he received this, this is what he saw, and this is what he heard.
Hey Josh, it's Gabby. Yes, I'm on an app. It's kind of weird, but it's raining here, and it's cold. Somehow that made me think of Germany. Not sure why.
So when
wow.
Yes, right? Wow. Did you get chills? Okay, so when he saw that card come alive, he said it rocked him to his core. This is a young 20-year-old soldier. He said it rocked him to his core and made the oceans between them disappear, and he felt as if she was embodied in that card. So he carried this physical piece of paper with him in his wallet every day because he felt so much closer to her because of that interaction, that engagement that I was able to provide for them. So I saw the power. I'm like, wow, if it can rock a young man into like writing extensively about how it made him feel, what do I have here? This is why I believe I was called to it, because I was widowed when I was in my 30s. I lost the love of my life, and I truly do value human relationships. That's what you really leave behind, is how you make people feel. And so if I could build something that's, whether they're a small business owner or whether they're a 90-year-old grandma, they can utilize this technology. And so that's what led me on the path to build Revealio. Yes, absolutely. I'm all in it for how we can enhance human connection through technology, augmented reality, virtual reality. These are realities that are coming, and we just need to be embracing them as small business owners.
That is amazing. The sad thing is some of the people on this podcast are just listeners. So you'll have to check out the video. Go find it on YouTube or in the Entrepreneur Journey group, anywhere that we're going to house this video, so you can see how amazing that was. And we're probably going to have clips of it all over the internet. So you'll be able to see it that way. But definitely find the video, because that is super cool. Now, let's talk about businesses in general, because it's entrepreneurs, my audience is, right? And a lot of those are authors. And one of the things I thought about was, I bet he has something similar with his book that you could do that with. So tell us how this could be used as in a business setting, if especially if you're a published author.
Right. So the idea here is that authors are very, proud of themselves that they've accomplished this great thing, and that is to write a book. So when you're out in there and you're networking, in person or even over Zoom, you can show people your book, but then you can even wow them even more so by making that book or that banner or that postcard or that business card come alive, and let the experience tell your story while it's also impressing the socks off of them. So essentially, augmented reality can bridge the two realms, virtual with reality, in a way that most have not seen before. So therefore, you're captivating their attention and they are literally hanging on your every word. And then through the experience itself, there's abilities to click on a button on the mobile screen that will take them to give them a free gift. So there's that incentive, there's that gamification factor, right? So this is something I recommend everybody do for that wow factor. Everybody should be telling their story on video anyway, even if it's just little tiny clips. And so let's just make that video come alive on that book, right? Or that business card. See if I can get this to reset here. Sorry. Sometimes you do have to, if it's been sitting open for too long, you just have to refresh. And then you just hold the phone in front of the book and it comes alive on the book. So it looks like the book is coming alive, like Harry Potter.
That's super cool.
But it's so easy to do because you're putting power of creation of content into the hands of the creator rather than having to hire a full-blown developer for every single experience. So it's actually very affordable. And it's a wow factor that even Kevin Harrington in Inc. magazine reached out and said, whoa, I really like this. So that is something that business owners can do to incentivize people to get more engaged with their brand.
Yeah, I'm thinking of it, especially if there's a mission behind your book, right? And connecting with the author seems to me like it's going to sell so much more books when you can share your story about your mission, that why you wrote the book, right? That's
and
amazing.
we've designed the model so that if you have a special message and you want to switch out that message, you as the one who has the reveal in your on your materials can go in and you can modify that video daily if you want it to be. It could be, you basically could keep any campaign, like if you want to run specials or a real estate agent wants to show a different property. I mean,
wow,
it's all there, right there.
Wow. So I want to touch on that. I love the technology and it is blowing my mind, as I'm sure anybody that's watching this it's blowing their mind too. What I also want to know about is Tech with a Heart Foundation, because that is something else that you're involved with. So can you kind of tell us what that is?
Yeah, so when I was demonstrating Revealio's augmented reality tool back in 2016 and 2017, I was getting so many business owners squealing. I've heard screams. I've heard people say, "Shut up! How are you doing that?" and it's just funny to see their reactions. It's always high energy and that wow factor. But then after the excitement would wane for a second, they would all say exactly the same thing, and it's like, "Oh man, technology is moving so fast. I just can't keep up. I'm so overwhelmed by it. Wow, I don't know if I could even incorporate something like that because I'm not very tech savvy." So I actually had another vision at the end of 2017 in which I was shown that I am to step into more of a leader role and try to empower and enlighten small business owners that yes, you can embrace technology to grow your business. Let's create a safe, nurturing, warm environment where you can come in and ask questions and not feel ridiculed because you don't know that. Nobody wants to hear that. Or they're very intimidated, but they know they need to embrace tech, but they just don't know who to trust or what to pay attention to. So we're trying to create this. We have been creating the last couple of years this network of small business owners that they're forward thinking and they're heart centered, because everything that we do utilize technology for in business should have that human first component. We don't want AI to negate our need for one another. We want AI to be a useful tool that helps us serve one another better. So let's use it properly. That's what Tech with Heart is all about.
I love that. So amazing. I love everything that you're doing. And you have a heart like mine. Like business is built on relationships, right? And I think we talked about that like the first time we met. And I know that we had a connection there. So thank you for all that you do. Now, if someone wanted to go find out more about Revealio and how to use it with their business, where would they go?
So we came up with the name Revealio essentially based on that flagship signature product, which is the augmented reality of making things come alive when you watch them through a smartphone. So it's the word reveal. So it's like to reveal your brand magically. So revealio.com, Revealio. Just go to revealio.com. You'll see there we offer many other visual storytelling services, but we also always throw in the Revealio AR as a bonus. We believe so much that if you're purpose-driven, you're mission-based, that others need to understand why you're doing what you're doing. They need to understand how it's impacting those that you're serving. And the best way for you to share those stories that are evergreen, that could draw people to you even while you're sleeping, is video marketing. So go to revealio.com, take a look at how we can help you tell your story, but then also let's make it really wow factor and impactful by adding that augmented reality component to that, so that you, wherever you go, whether you're just in a restaurant talking with somebody or even meeting somebody over Zoom, you can show them who you are and why you do what you do and how it's impacting people.
Nice. I could go on for days about the different scenarios that I could see Revealio being used, but I'm thinking one thing is book signings. Like if you're there, you could play the video for people, or the people can just hover over the and see the video. Even if it's not you physically there, if you can't be there as an author, other people, they can meet the author without meeting the author, in a sense. In that.
Yeah, and it's a great way to drive more paperback or hardback book sales versus ebooks, because you can brag about the fact that your book comes alive. So if they come to a book signing, not only will they get a signed version of the book, but it'll actually come alive and talk to them. So there's that wow factor there too.
Yeah, I tell all my clients, I run an agency as well, and I tell all my clients that video converts so much better than images or just text. And same thing would be true with books too. If you can sell it with a video, you're going to sell more books.
Yeah, and so we understand that that's actually quite a barrier for some small business owners. A lot of authors per se, I love their heart. They poured into their book and they thought that getting that book written was like the bulk of the work. But then they realize that there's this whole other part of trying to get people to like realize the book's there and the value. And so we really do help authors or small business owners identify like what parts of their story to tell. And we even help them with scripting. And there's so many ways that we can get a story told on video without the author having to be on camera if they're not comfortable being on camera. So there's really no excuse these days. And because I'm such a purpose-driven and heart-centered entrepreneur, and the only reason I'm doing this is because I believe I'm called to it, I've actually created an entire video creation process in which it is incredibly competitive and affordable for small businesses, way more than they probably even imagine, because we can meet them where they're at with whatever budget they have and help them get this thing done. Let's just do it. Get it done.
I've been to the website and checked it out, and I was honestly really surprised at how affordable it was to get involved. So I highly encourage everyone that's listening or watching to this to go to revealio.com and see for yourself, see the magic happen, because there are videos showing how the technology works on Revealio as well. And Michelle, much like myself, is a heart-driven entrepreneur, and you can't go wrong with partnering with her on anything. So greatly appreciate this. Any parting words for our audience, Michelle?
I really want this to resonate with anybody that's listening. When you're gone, what do you want people to remember about you? Honestly, it really comes down to, how are you making people feel? Let's focus on that part of doing business. How are you making people feel? If you want to grow your business, you want people to feel that you are the one, you over deliver, you are filled with integrity and honor and respect, and that you do care about their success. So what are you doing with your marketing or your sales or your business practices that are making people feel that way about you, so that they're going to go and refer business to you for the lifetime, for their lifetime. So that's my takeaway, is remember that that's probably one of the most important things in life and in business.
I totally agree. And until next time, I'm Doug Greathouse, and this is the Entrepreneur Journey, and keep moving forward.